Guys, excuse me. In this video, I'm going to request everyone to listen attentively, very closely. Okay? Survivors of abuse. Listen, listen, listen. Take your time. Don't rush. Don't rush the video. Switch off your TVs and everything. I don't know if you're watching from a TV or not. Get the kids some ice cream or something. Lock the door and listen very closely. The narcissist is wearing a crown. And it is not the crown we think. Okay, it's not that crown you see on TV with some diamonds and rubies and what. No, 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 no. It's not that's not the crown we're talking about here. The narcissist is wearing a crown. And you've been with me for a while, ladies and gentlemen, and I've told you narcissism is spiritual. Narcissistic abuse is spiritual. So we look at it on this channel. We look at narcissism from a spiritual perspective. The narcissist is wearing a crown. It's an evil crown. If you are born in a narcissistic family dynamic system or so, and you have a narcissistic parent father, the crown was passed on from their parent. It could have come from their mother, or it could have come from their father. That crown was passed on to them. There's a reason as to why you hear me saying narcissism is generational. So when you are dealing with the narcissistic family dynamic, the entire family is actually entangled with the spirit of narcissism. So you are going to have a lot of family members that are most likely going to come out as narcissists. There may not be all of them. There's always in the family some member or two that will break that spirit, like the black sheep of the family. But there will be family members that are going to end up becoming narcissists. That crown, it came from the previous generations. There is somewhere that it started. You could be actually walking very many years ago back. You could even be walking back like 100 years ago. And there is somebody that took on that crown. When they wore that crown, they passed it on to their children. Those children also passed it on to their children, and so on and so forth. And now, it became something they call a generational curse. Narcissism is generational. Okay? Even if you are not born from a family of narcissists, and at some point something happened along your journey, and you become a narcissist, you wear the crown. And that crown is going to be passed on to your children. And the generational curse will actually start with you, who decided or who became a narcissist for whichever reason. That crown cannot be unworn, or I could say it cannot be taken off. It cannot be removed. The crown cannot be removed. But when you're living in a family where there's a generational curse breaker, the person they call the black sheep, they are able to break that curse. I did a video a couple of years ago. It was called The Aftermath. What actually happens when the scapegoat breaks away from a dysfunctional family system? When the scapegoat walks away, they are the very first people that are going to break that curse. Now, from the point forthwards, from the black sheep or scapegoat onwards, because the black sheep, we know that the black sheep is the scapegoat of the family. From the scapegoat onwards, we're talking about dysfunction, narcissism. We're not talking about other things such as alcoholism and whatever. You know, there's many types of curses. This one is just narcissism in particular. When the black sheep walks away, they are able to break the curse. And anybody that is going to be born or coming after that black sheep, or the children that are going to come afterwards, they will find that curse broken already. So they will not have to deal with narcissism of any sorts. When you remove the crown, this is where the video gets very intensive, and I want you to listen very closely, ladies and gentlemen. When the crown is removed, in whichever way, I don't know, because I've told you that narcissism is spiritual, so definitely to break that curse, it has got to be approached from a spiritual perspective. The very first thing that happens when you're breaking that curse, you denounce participating in any form of narcissism, whether it is your family, community, or whatever. But when that crown breaks, there's a very big chance that narcissist you've been dealing with could pass away. Are we together, my chosen ones? When the crown, in any case, by any chance, should it be removed, there's a very big chance that narcissist will pass away. In the process of breaking a generational curse when it comes to narcissism, in that video I mentioned it very clearly. I'm going to put a link in the description. You guys can go. Many of you guys who are new, you can go back and watch that video 3-4 years ago. In many cases, when the black sheep starts breaking the curse, you're going to hear the entire family. There will be a lot of turmoil in that family. You may start to see different things happening to the narcissistic parent. Some of the family members, they may be going through a lot of stuff. That is because there is something that is breaking. There is a crown that is breaking in the spirit. Many of them can end up in hospital. Many of you guys have reported the moment you left, it just took a couple of months and the narcissistic parent passed away. That wasn't by coincidence. The crown was broken. That spirit came from somewhere. And that spirit has been lingering around so many generations in different families until you walked into that particular family. And that spirit recognized you. You had a different energy. As a black sheep, there was something unique about you. You was at a certain frequency, and that spirit couldn't penetrate. He tried many times. A lot of you guys black sheep. Yes, there could be some other cases where you might have noticed you had a little bit of narcissistic traits because you used to live around narcissists. Maybe you used to do some of the things they did. Maybe use some of the words, vocabulary they used to say. But because you hold a certain frequency, that spirit couldn't settle well within your essence. Is why you have been battling for a very long time. You have been battling with that spirit. That spirit was trying to sit within your spirit. Because you see, for that spirit to survive, it has to keep on moving within families for a very long time. But let's understand something as we go on in this video. When I'm talking about a crown, we have a king, or maybe we have a queen that wears the crown. The other members along the team, they are ushers, they are workers, they are the maids, they are enabling that particular parent, the one that is wearing the crown. But when that person passes on, this is where the video gets very tricky. When that person passes on, and in that particular generation, nobody has been able to break that spirit, that crown is going to be passed on to somebody else. There's a very big chance, I can almost say 90% chances, that crown is going to be passed on to the golden child. Very likely, the crown is going to be worn by the golden child. And then now the golden child starts his or her own kingdom. And there's also going to be ushers who are going to be the family, the children that they bear, that are going to continue enabling the practice. So there is one person that wears the crown, and the other ones are just ushers. Okay, when you're in the church, you have the leader, and then you've got these ushers, the one that are moving the chairs, sweeping the floors, tidying up the place before the service starts. That's what happens. It's how it is. That crown, like I've said, it is spiritual. So there's a spirit behind that narcissist. It has chosen that person. The intensity of the energy will depend on every individual. Not all narcissists are doing the same things. They're all doing the same things, but not all of them at the same level. You may find some other ones, lesser ones. In the psychology language, you hear people talking about the lesser narcissist. Maybe they are there in the middle. They're a little bit toxic here and there. They are narcissists, but not fully blown narcissists. And then you find some of them, the mid-range, and then eventually you start upgrading to the greater ones. The intensity of the crown is going to depend on different individuals, depending on their circumstances. Which means the greater narcissist will wear a different type of crown, will be wearing a different type of crown, like compared to the lesser narcissist. It will be a similar crown, but it will be a different energy. So they may not be doing the same things that the lesser narcissist is doing. Okay, they may be a little bit more qualified in that direction. Are we together, guys? The reason why you see a narcissist, many people have told you they cannot heal narcissism. There has not been any successful story in records. If there has been one, I want you to let me know. Let us know in the comments if you have heard about one narcissist that has healed completely. It's not possible. It is spiritual. It's a crown. And you can only a few people. Why? Only a few people that are able to break that crown, to break the curse. The curse breaks when the person passes away. But first of all, the black sheep in the family, you will identify that problem. You will address it, you will speak about it, you will fight with it until it's broken. But one thing I can promise you, the only way the curse is fully broken is when that person passes away. So that is when now that thing may actually move on to somebody else. So you guys have to be careful. This video is spiritual. And it's not going to be everybody who understands it, okay? And I can understand as well. You have to understand. When you attend a narcissist funeral, I want you to be very careful not to get very emotional. The person that is going to cry the most, when you're in a funeral and you see those guys, they're rolling over the floor, they this and this. Yes, they have their pain and everything. Maybe they didn't even know that the dead person was a narcissist. That crown could attach itself to that particular individual. But in most cases, there's a very big chance is the golden child that is going to hurt the most. Now, when you're dealing with spiritual things in this thing called narcissism, we have to be very careful. The more attachment you have with a narcissistic parent, when you get very attached to those individuals, you can end up wearing that crown, because should those people pass on, the crown has already identified who is going to be the heir to the kingdom. Because you see, these spirits need vessels. They came from somewhere. They are very dark spirits. They came from somewhere. They need vessels. As long as they can identify anybody that pretty much connects too much with them, then you're giving them a home. So when you're in the funeral and you're seeing those people, they are crying. They are the ones who are the most hurt. They are showing them to everybody that they are too much in pain. They are rolling on the ground and everything. That crown will attach itself to those people. It's a spiritual video, okay? Any narcissist you see, you have dealt with, they are wearing an evil crown, okay? When you ever get the chance to see what is beyond the mask, and you can see the spirit behind that person, you will be very surprised as to how dark it goes and how dark the rabbit hole goes. Narcissism is a very deep rabbit hole. You can only understand this rabbit hole when you have been able to awaken, start learning and getting your research. You will be surprised as to how deep the rabbit hole goes, okay? There's two things to take from this video. Number one, that crown the narcissist is wearing is an evil crown. When that crown breaks, the narcissism is going to end with that particular parent. Actually, everybody in that family will be set free. It can only happen when the person passes away. Unfortunately, I have to say it as it is. When you have got a narcissistic parent, the crown, and you have awakened. So this is in a scenario whereby you have the black sheep that has awakened and denounced that narcissism. The cycle breaks completely when that parent passes away, because now that crown can no longer function within the unit. The crown has been existing because nobody was able to identify that spirit. The moment it has been identified, that is the moment it loses its power. And eventually, as soon as the person passes away, that spirit breaks. Is why they call you the generational curse breaker, because that crown is never going to be passed on to anybody else in that unit. It is going to end with the person that ushered it in that family matrix. It's a video for the wise ones. Let us know what you think. You guys know I always love and appreciate your support. Please book a session if you want to. You can always donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in my next one. Denzel Moss signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.